in an urban context, you can see filling the water that's coming off your rooftop. Nowadays, many apartments of many localities in Hyderabad, they are running out of groundwater. Yet a lot of rainwater is being wasted. They don't utilize it. And the concretization of roads, everything is concrete, where there is no scope for water to get into the soil. There is no scope for the water to recharge the groundwater. So having putting up tumblers, putting up buckets, and using that rainwater as an energy, and you can save a lot of water. You can also have the rainwater recharge pits being constructed in your apartments, and there are various ways to think of if you want to store that energy which nature is giving you. The second example, like I said, is storing the sun energy, doing things on right time. There we are making arm papad, because that is on the only time where you can use the sun energy and dehydrate. Once the monsoon comes, which means you lost the energy of the sun. Yeah, the same here. There's a farmer's land where they do not have it's extremely dry land. They don't have source of water, they don't have a bore well. So making these rainwater harvesting pits, which are called the trenches, is very essential, had benefited them a lot, because when it rained, this is how the water got filled up in the trenches. So these small interventions, when you do, nature is giving you enough, so you just need to catch and store that energy and utilize it beneficially, rather than drilling into mother earth and extracting the water off the borewell. There are ways that you can do it, and this is a picture from last monsoon where there was water filled up. So this maintains a moisture for so long in the soil, the water harvesting in the lands. So this is one of the pictures from the farmers land that we have implemented. uh, obtain a yield, like I said, any energy that you put in growing or in doing something, you should always get something in return, because your energy should not go in waste. This is also a palette of diversity, the diversified food. It's not just one thing. If you see here, there are different kinds of food from my backyard or from my farm. So if, because I have these many types of food I'm eating, one can get different kinds of nutrients. One can see different kinds of life that is thriving. If it's just one variety, even the soil gets bored, you would get bored, and there is no meaning for the existence. Next one. Next, please. Yeah, like I was talking about the renewable resources, using of bullocks instead of tractors or any other machinery. We would like to bring back the traditional practices as much as possible, because again, going back to the machinery, going to the machinery, implementing more of using more of non-renewable resources is not good for our future. So bring back the biological resources as much as possible. Next one, please. Next. So here is an example of making like raised beds for vegetables, where you don't see us growing in a straight pattern, but we have followed the pattern of waves or like meanders, where it's all wavy but not in a straight line. In this way, you can utilize the space more efficiently rather than having just straight line, and the nutrition intake would be less, and also the number of plants growing there the number would be lesser. Next. Yeah, integrate rather than segregate. This we have gone through. I just give an example of the chicken coop here and the cattle shed. Next. Yes, slow and small and slow solutions, where there is no one size fits all solution. You need to think of your own solutions which are small and which are easy within your reach. You should not go for something that you cannot meet, or you cannot one cannot go and do. They should always be accessible and something that you can do, rather than taking up a whole burden on yourself and trying to do as maximum. Next. Yeah, diversity, this is a small piece of land. It's less than an acre, but if you can see the different species of plants here, there's a lot of diversity. So imagine if I just have gone for mango plantation or guava plantation or lime or sapota. It's just one fruit that you're going to get, but imagine you have different species in that small space that you have everything that you can eat in 365 days, because each fruit that you get out is seasonal. It's not just one season you get and the rest of the seasons you don't. So every plant has its own fruiting time and flowering time and seasons, right? So when you enter a space like that, that space should be able to give you food all throughout the year. You should design in such a way that it's giving you something all throughout the year, not just at certain point of the year, or in summers or winters, just not those times, but all 365 days. Next. Yeah, this is also an example of diversity. You see this one, the different kinds of seeds that are displayed here. When we talk about tuar dal, kandipappu, as you all know, when we talk about something, you all know only the variety of tuar dal or kandipappu that you're eating at home, which is the one yellow variety. But what you don't know is there are around like 30-40 different varieties just from this region of tuar dals that exist, and all those seeds are now diminishing. Like there is no one who's growing them, there is no one who's saving them, because a lot of hybrids have come up and the traditional varieties, the native varieties of seeds are going down. Earlier there was that diversity. Just because there was that diversity, the food people were consuming was diverse, the strength they had was so much, and they were able to do a lot of work, unlike us who does a little bit of heavy lifting these days, and then we are tired, we don't want to do anymore, because our food lacks diversity, our food lacks nutrition, our and everything. Again, if you talk about why does it lack all of these, because there's no diversity and there is no health in the soil health is um, diminishing rapidly. If you When we talk about like permaculture and the diversity, if you when we are growing foods, so the baskets in the previous picture is just a one day harvest where you find different things. Imagine I get the same cluster bean every day and eating cluster bean every day. It is something that you are going to get fed up with. So when we say permaculture is about diversity, it's diversity in everything, even in the vegetables that you eat. So you can mix all together and make, rather than just eating one single thing and buying something from outside. Next, please. Yeah, like I've given the example of edges. Anything on the edge is more, the growth is more, and there are more benefits of being on the edge. Here in this picture, you can see this is an edge, right? There is a river, and there is water, and there is greenery, and this is a cold desert. On the top you see the brown thing, that's a cold desert, and there is river, and there is greenery. So the plants which you see in this image are on the edge. So the ones in the edge are getting the benefits of the river, and also the cold desert, which is on the other side, where there's getting the soil and the nutrients, and they're growing very well on the edge.